Hello, my name is Ilona. I just finished my Dutch live, so I want to make a recap in English. A few questions. I only have 6 questions. There were some questions that were just more, connected to the Netherlands. But there were also some things we talked about, so I'm going to mention you a few things at the end. So first of all, the first question was about the banks. Are they going to fall? Have they fallen? There's a lot of things going on about the banks, and I just want to take a look at them. And I've got 4 of Cups, the Tower, so obviously they are collapsing as we speak. 7 of Swords, they're still trying to get away with things, but it's not going as it should, and things are already happening and it's collapsing. The old system is collapsing. I do believe that the old will fall before the new system will come in. So we'll have to wait. I know there are a lot of people already talking that could happen in a few days. I just leave that open. I have a feeling that it's more going to be like things kind of like dominoes. They're kind of falling together. So if one thing falls, then the other thing. So I do believe that it probably will be a scary event as well. I just can't really imagine first the banks falling. They were like somewhere in between. The dark puppets are still around, and that then we're going to get a new system, or there's going to be a scare after that. So I have a feeling it's all going to come together, so to speak. But things are falling apart. So this is it's not going to end well for the people in the dark energies in the banking system. So that's the feeling I'm getting from that. The second one was about Mr. T and maybe if something's going to happen to him because of, well, let's just say there was someone messaging. I believe the son of George Soros. Very strange message, very cryptic. So what I got, and the feeling I'm getting for quite some time, I've looked at it before, that I think that he's very safe somewhere. We've got the 9 of Pentacles, we've got the Hanged Man, and the 5 of Pentacles. In this case, I believe he's already somewhere very quiet. So this is kind of being in the cold, so to speak. So I do believe it's probably in a cold area. I believe he is in Cheyenne Mountain, but I'm not sure about that. There are also stories that he's already, gone from this earth plane. I believe that we are still working with Mr. T. I do believe that he's somewhere safe, like somewhere where he can be independent, somewhere safe, somewhere separate from other things. I do believe that he has doubles, or just they're working with all kinds of other things that's connected to, well, what let's just say the dark has been using for many times, and I think the white hats are using certain techniques as well. And I don't believe that something will really happen to him, maybe to his double, but I don't see that happening either. So I do believe that he's safe, he's somewhere safe. The third question was about, about the medicine here in the Netherlands, maybe in other countries as well. There are like shortages of certain medication. It's almost like that's kind of falling apart, or suddenly they're getting something else. And I wanted to take a look at that as well. I thought that was a very interesting question. I've got the Knight of Cups, Justice, and the Wheel of Fortune. So to me this is an opportunity to straighten things out. So I think a lot of medication is going to, disappear, because really it's not very good for us. A lot of it is just not very good for us. And I do believe someone mentioned also in the chat that a lot of these, companies are losing money. They don't get the money they used to have. So this is also about karma, justice. So balance is being made. I think the justice is coming back. So I don't believe that the people that are working and have been really knowing what's been going on, they're not going to get away with it. But I think it's really falling apart as well. And it's necessary. And that's why a lot of the medication may change or disappear. Because of a lot of it, let's face it, it's just, they've been doing a lot of awful things to us for a very long time on all kinds of ways. So I think this is about balancing. This is about, return to balance, probably to harmony, to more in tune with our own bodies, different methods of healing. And it's interesting to see also about the banks. The first question, it has very similar to the med beds. They're not going to roll out that system until, those healing beds, until all those puppets are gone. They're waiting for that. So the new system is not going to come in any way until the old system is really completely collapsed. And the same is happening now with these companies where they're making all these medicine and things like that. It's really ending. Let's see. The blackout is more like what's going to happen. Is that going to take a long time? Is it going to happen like a worldwide, everything is knocked out? What I got is, this is the first card that kind of jumped out. It was the Two of Swords. Right now, they're not sure when it's going to happen. They're still kind of weighing their options, how to do it and what they want to do. Still thinking about this, thinking thoroughly what is the best way to do it. Someone also mentioned in the chat, well, how are they going to do it? A lot of people have all kinds of food in the freezer, then they can just throw that away. I'm even thinking about hospitals and things like that. People that need breathing apparatus and things like that. They'll need, electricity and things like that. So I do think that they'll make sure, especially also with the Sun card and the Six of Wands, that it won't take that long. And they will probably, pick the smoothest transition possible. This is also the victory. So if it does happen worldwide, it means that things will be changing in a very big way. But I do believe it will be a victory for humanity. So I don't see that it will take a long time. But right now, they're not entirely sure how they're going to do that. They're still discussing how they're going to see that through. That's the feeling I'm getting. So another question I thought was a very interesting question about the elements. And the elementals, I think it is in English. So the fairies and leprechauns and all the other... it's more of a different dimension. There are people, of course, that can see them. I believe they are now in a higher dimension, kind of away. I'll show it. That's what I got from the card reading. But I think, I have to change a few cards here. That, let's see, we have the Two of Swords again. So they purposely, that we can't see them. It was too much for them. The energy was becoming too heavy. So they kind of slipped into a higher dimension. That's why most of us won't see them. But some people can see fairies, can see like leprechauns and things like that. And it's a very interesting, I think realm. And there are people that made pictures of them or at least, painted them. And it's very interesting, but they purposely, because it was too much, the energy was too heavy. But in some parts, they're obviously still there. But in another dimensional, it's like they're a little higher, so to speak. But some people can't see them. And ultimately, let's see, was this the... I was mistaken here. That wasn't the... This was from there. Let's see. I just got the wrong card, but I wrote everything down. So it will return. They will return and they will obviously go their own way. But I do think that the more spiritual we will become and everything will become lighter, they will start seeing them just like with aliens of worlders will start to see them as well. So I think that's very, very interesting. And I'm looking forward to that, to be very honest. I think it's very interesting to finally see all these sort of mythical creatures that are, of course, there. All these legends and myths are based on them, and to really, truly meet them, I'm really open for that. I think it's going to be very interesting. So let's see, we're talking about the storms right now in the Netherlands, and I think Germany and Belgium also has issues with it, in Great Britain. This is the 10th storm we have. Yesterday we had storm Isha, I believe, and now it's Jocelyn, because they're always in alphabetical order. And that's just interesting. Let's see, this one. Is it, some people still think they're completely man-made, they're manipulated. And to be honest, I have a feeling that it's more of a combination of things that have been manipulated, and that also Mother Earth, the consciousness of Mother Earth, is also trying to restore things. And this is very interesting. I've got the Seven of Swords, I've got the Knight of Swords, and I've got the Ace of Swords. So to me, this is a yes. I think it's a combination of Mother Earth really just fed up with, well, not really fed up, but she's changing. It's a higher energy, and all these old energies needs to be, how to say this, changed, needs to be released. And it's also, it's a reflection. Our outside world is a reflection of what's going, of course, on inside. And right now there is clearing going on outside of ourselves, inside of ourselves. And the storm is a very suited way to get rid of all kinds of debris and things. So I do think this is not just a storm in the outside, but also energetically a lot of things are changing. And I do think that some things have been started in the past. They've manipulated so much with the weather that it's going to have an effect. And some things have started in the past, and it will take time before you see the outside manifestation of certain things. Just like with hurricanes. So sometimes there's not much that can be done, but I'm feeling it's like a combination of Mother Earth cleansing as well. Of course, it's also a reflection of what's going on with ourselves, with everything that's going on. Things are falling apart. You can see that outside as well. I see it as a clearing. So let's see. These were the questions I wanted to talk about. There was also a question where I didn't really do card readings on. It's more of a different kind of question. Why is the Netherlands so dark? Why are there so many dark energies here? Because the Netherlands is one of the darkest countries you could just imagine. I believe it has to do with our royal family, who's really pretty much high in the, in the lines. And a lot have happened. We, of course, have the VOC. I'm not sure if that's the way you pronounce it, but they've been here since the 16th century. And they've also made all these star forts and created, of course, underground a lot of things and used it for all kinds of things. So that's been going on for a very long time. So a lot of rituals have taken place here and a lot of dark energies. But the beauty of it, well, of course, depends on how you see it, that because it's so dark, a lot of light workers were born here in the Netherlands. Kind of just, the duality, the dark and the light, it kind of unites here. And I do believe that is to heal and to balance things out. And I think that's the reason why there's so many light workers born in the Netherlands. It's just a lot of spiritual people all kind of stuck together in this small country. Belgium also have all the dark energies. They have also a royal family. I believe Great Britain, of course, has a royal family. But there are, a lot of, in Belgium, you also have the European Union, and a lot of things have been going on there as well. So I do believe it has to do with the rituals that have been happening for centuries, things under the ground, the royal families, it's all a connection. So that's kind of how I answered that question. Another one was, is it, with reincarnation? I thought it was very interesting. There were more spiritual questions as well. Is it taken over by other people? That's why we're forgetting. Or is that part of reincarnation? I believe it wasn't. I've read some things about that as well quite some time ago. I always thought it was strange that we would forget everything, because you can, and I've noticed that myself in the regression therapies, just go over the same mistake over and over again because you're not really learning anything, because you don't understand what you did wrong, for instance, in another lifetime. And I know there are, aliens that do have all their lifetime. So it's not like that we won't be able to all comprehend everything. I do believe that we are capable of doing that. But of course, a lot of things have happened to us. So it will take time. I do believe that right now we are now taking back memories from past lifetimes. I've noticed this with dreams and things I just experience, other people as well. There is so much coming back now. I believe that the loop we were in, that it was created by the dark energies to keep us in a low frequency, and that they also made sure that we wouldn't remember anything, because then we would stay in a low frequency. Because it's like you start with classes. You start with the first class, you learn how to read and write, and then in the second class you'll have to learn how to read and write again, and the third one again, and then you're going to high school and you have no idea how to read and write. You're not getting anywhere. So it's a very strange system. I believe it's purposely placed that way. But I can understand if people have other perspectives about this. But I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that loop has been dissolved. So we don't have to be afraid of that anymore. So we don't have to be afraid of not going into the tunnel of things like that. I don't think we will experience that now when we are leaving the earth plane. Another thing is the animals, the energy of the animals. If they're very spiritual, I believe animals are very spiritual. Dogs, cats, all kinds of animals, they are very aware. They don't have the consciousness like we do that they can make choices. I don't think they have that. But they have a very high energy and they feel things. They can even sense entities. They can sense energies. And it's very interesting. And someone mentioned in the chat that she also gets feelings when she's somewhere on a holiday and she like, it's almost like I've been there before. And it's very possible. So if it's like a déjà vu feeling, like you've been there before, it's most likely that you've maybe, if you haven't been there in this lifetime, that you've experienced something from another lifetime. Let's see. The last one I just thought was interesting about the eyes. If it has an effect, glasses or things like that. If you can be clairvoyant. I believe it has nothing to do with being clairvoyant. I believe that people even that are blind can be clairvoyant because that's like a spiritual level. And your eyes, if you have issues with eyes, of course it depends on who you are and how you see things. But I know that Louise Hay, she has a book about heal yourself, and in the back of the book she had all these ailments, things that can happen to you, and then she had like a spiritual explanation. And of course it can be different, but I thought that was very interesting, especially with not seeing things. So if you can't see things up close, that usually means that there's something up close in your life you don't want to see. If you can see far from you, that means that you have some issues with seeing in the future and things like that. This is very general. And I believe that our bodies do send signals, but it's also very symbolic to you, to each and every one of us, because we are unique. But there are some similarities, and I thought it was very interesting. But I don't believe that the eyesight is a direct connection with clairvoyance. So I think that's the last thing I wanted to talk about. And I hope to see you in another video. Bye!